Shalom, shalom. Before we begin today's camp, all honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakar Double honors to the apostles, elders, and teachers at Great Millstone for teaching me this 100% truth about our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai, Mashiach, and the true reason he's coming back, which is to save the elect remnant of the house of Israel from their enemies and those that hate them, and to take over the earth and universe, which is given to him by the mighty, mighty Yahweh himself, the Ancient of Days, wherein our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, will establish righteousness throughout the whole earth and universe forever under the kingdom of the heaven of the Israelites. Shalom, Akim and Akwa. We one day closer to the kingdom. So we should be good to go. Yeah. Well, today's camp gonna be about everybody's in their life. So we'll start off. We're gonna go through the things that have been taking place on earth and filter them through the scriptures, as we normally do. We'll start off in the book of Daniel. I just did a lesson yesterday, and I titled it, Everyone is in their life, right? Because as you can tell, people on earth are behaving just as the Lord said they would. So, start off in the book of Daniel, 12th chapter, 13th verse. It's the Lord talking to Daniel, prophet, Israelite prophet at that. But go thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of the days. We right now, at the end of the days of the Edomites ruling this nation, the so-called modern day white man. The time is coming to an end. This age is coming to an end. Right? Let's read it in the NLT. As for you, go your way until the end, you will rest, and then at the end of the days, you will rise again to receive the inheritance set aside for you, which is eternal life. Because Daniel was a part of the elect. Right? That's an inheritance he's going to get for what? For believing in your house, Mashiach, during these days and times. Right? So, let me go back up to the top now, though, because, like I say, or like the apostles say, through the scriptures, you can verify there is regeneration. So the prophet Daniel is back on earth right now. Not what you hear at your average, everyday Christian church, especially over here in America, right? Because this is what we finna go through. For all those who don't believe that in the 12 tribes, that we are the house of Israel, it's your lot. You're doing the same thing you did during the various captivities that are mentioned in the Holy Scriptures, right? So, as the brothers been mentioning, the apostles, we are in Jacob's trouble. It's just beginning, but it's going to intensify. They focus on the northern kingdom right now, but they always keep their eye on Judah, which is mainly African American, right? Benjamin and Levi included in that because they already started to deport them Haitians and the Benjamites that are from the Caribbean islands. They started to feel the pressure too. And now you got members of the northern kingdom like Issachar coming out and saying they didn't believe the plight of the so-called Negro and how it affected them and how Esau, the so-called white man, restricted them with laws, unrighteous decrees, their actions like the Jim Crow laws, how they used to just lynch us. All those things in the past, these kids nowadays, this generation don't know nothing about. But now they waking up to it. The truth continues to come out, right? So, they started deporting the migrants. Now they just came out with legislation on the homeless people to put them in rehabilitation centers is what they calling it. But we all know that ain't nothing but another word for detention center. So they got a big ass experiment going on right now. If you can't tell, they turning the Gaza Strip into a big ass concentration camp, right? big ass concentration camp. They gonna see how that go. The people go for that because right now, as we know it, the people over here in America, they ain't too much worried about world events. So they have no care or concern about what's going on over in the so-called Middle East. But the rest of the world do. That's why the scriptures read, they should be, you should be despised among the heathen. But let's get this. Daniel 12:1. At that time, Michael, the archangel who stands guard over your nation. I'm reading this in the NLT. What nation? The Israelites. Right. I'm gonna read it in KJV after this. Will arise. So let me read it. Let me start it over. At that time, Michael, the archangel who stands guard over your nation, will arise. Then there will be a time of anguish greater than any since nations first came into existence. But at that time, everyone of your people whose name is written in the book will be rescued. And those people whose name are written in the book are the elect. Those who believe in the true doctrine, 100% doctrine of the Holy Scriptures. Right? Those who don't believe, they ain't finna be saved. Right? In the end, all Israel will be saved. But not starting out. Whoa. So like, and you on the curve. The tires been printing on the curve. Let's read it in the KJV. Daniel 12:1. At that time, Michael shall stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. Who's the Lord's people? The Israelites, especially the house of David, is being rebuilt right now. Right? And there shall be a time of trouble such as never was ever since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. That's why it speaks of Daniel's inheritance at the end of this chapter, right? When you read in the ALT. Because all the prophets that wrote these scriptures, they back on earth. All the believers, they back. And guess what? All you non-believers too. That's why they call scoffers at this time. Right? Reprobate men of the house of Israel. And they lie. Over these last couple of weeks, man, scoffers been going hard, or trying to go hard, trying to question the men of the Lord about the Bible, which they never questioned their preacher about. He never told you none of the things that the apostles, starting out of One West, and I'm speaking for the men of GMS, the apostles, elders, and teachers. Before they brought this information out, the average so-called African American, I'm gonna say male, knew none of this. We didn't know how to read the scriptures until I came across the YouTube channel. Right? I have been to church thousands of times. I ain't never heard preachers say none of the stuff that's in the book. They never defined what sin was. To this day, they still don't know. But yet they coming against the men of the Lord. So, let me get one more scripture before we get to some of these, one more precept before we get to some of these events that's been taking place around the earth. And you know where you're going, Matthew 24, right? Matthew 24:6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. We're sitting there trying to prepare the house of Israel mentally for what's going to take place on this earth in order for this kingdom to go down. These things must happen. So you're going to see death and destruction everywhere. Be not alarmed, though. See, 2/3, those who don't believe in 100% doctrine of the word, they're going to be taken by surprise. And then they're going to cry out to the Lord. You're going to get rejected. You should have been rehearsing the righteous acts, right? For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines. So we're going to read the article, because the boy, Steve Witkoff, he went over to Gaza. After the whole world, nations have been coming out. I done seen reports of it daily on the world news, not CNN and Fox News, not the news just broadcast in America, but around the world, everybody been seeing what's been happening to the Palestinians over in the Gaza Strip. Steve Witkoff went over there and said that there is no famine. Ain't nobody dying of starvation over there. Nothing but lies coming from who? the wicked, which are who? The house of Esau, Edom, right? There should be famines and pestilences. Remember now, Trump was inaugurated. DJ got inaugurated on the 20th of January, right? 21st, something like that. And it had came out a couple of weeks before that hey, it's gonna be, they gonna unleash all new types of diseases and pests, all new strains on Earth. And as you can tell, if you're looking at your news, it's been going on and it's going down. And earthquakes in diverse places, right? You just look up the what do they call it? The service. Earthquake service. They just had an earthquake off the coast of Russia that was 8.8 this past week. You had one in New York. I mean, we're gonna read that order. New York, New Jersey area, a minor earthquake, right? A minor earthquake. You got thousands of tremors over on the West Coast in Washington. The elect paying attention. Those who rebelled against the Lord during the various times of our captivity, they ain't paying attention. Right? All these are the beginning of sorrows. Let me get this in NLT. I'm gonna drop down a couple of verses and get this in the NLT. Right? Matthew 24 and 11. And many false prophets will appear and will deceive many people. Right? That's all these churches. There's churches everywhere in America. Standing on every other corner. They ain't told you none of the prophecies that's in this book. They ain't breaking down no prophecies in this book. They ain't finna tell you nothing about the events that's finna take place on this earth. All they want is your money. Or the one who's gonna be the next cookout, right? I wonder if I should move this. Can you see me? Can y'all see me? Because I can't even see the camera now. Blind is right here. Let me try to move this camera right here and see what happens. I still can't see it. I'm gonna leave it. I'll leave it how it is. Put it in the shade though. Shalaki is right here. I have to stand like this. Hopefully y'all can see. Right? Matthew 24 and 11, NLT. And many false prophets will appear and will deceive many people. Sin will be rampant everywhere, and the love of many will grow cold. But the one who endures to the end will be saved. Right? And the good news about the kingdom of who? The Israelites, ruling on this earth, will be preached throughout the whole world so that all nations will hear it, and then the end will come. Why do all nations have to hear it? Because pursuant to the scriptures, we were scattered. The children of Israel were scattered to the four corners of the earth. Why? Because we rebelled against the Lord. Let's go back to Daniel. 9th chapter. And see what Daniel prayed for, right? To the house of Israel. For the house of Israel. Right. I'm going to stay in there. Wait a minute, let me check this out. Yeah, I'll read it in KJV first. That's why we got the scoffers on earth right now. What you would call modern day terms, a hater. Who they hating on? Us, the men of the Lord. Why? For trying to teach our kids, like I said, to teach your children's children these laws. Roughly paraphrased, right? The covenant that was made with the house of Israel. It's supposed to be passed down orally, right? And from reading the scriptures. Daniel 9 and 11. Yeah, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing. What did they depart to? Some got scattered during the various captivities, and some left willingly. Why? Because they thought that if they left the homeland, they continued to be rebellious against the Lord, he wouldn't see them. So they moved away. Started a whole new generations living in other lands. Right? Hey, how you doing? Good, thank you. I'm all right. Yeah, all Israel has transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they may not obey thy voice. So they thought, it's just like saying modern day terms right now. You was born in New York. You don't like your parents' rules in their house. Matter of fact, you don't even like the state rules in the state of New York. So you moved to the West Coast, to California. And you raise your kids, your You there over 100 years, your family line, right? You thinking that you getting away from what your parents taught you when you was in New York? That's what this saying, basically, right? Yeah, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore, the curse is poured upon us. Where the curse is at? It's in the book of Deuteronomy, right? 28th chapter. But yet they, average Christian will read that and say, nah, that don't apply. Who would apply to them? It damn so don't apply to them people that's over there now. Because they don't even go by one law. Even though they say they practice out of the Torah, they don't believe in the New Testament. They got a whole different book that they get their laws and guidelines from, the Talmud. Look it up. Therefore, the curse is poured upon us, who? The nation of Israel, the so-called African Americans, Latinos, and Native Americans. Are we not the meek of the earth that the Lord Yahweh himself speaks of? Just because you see a handful of us appearing to do well, that's all vanity, that's meaningless. What you got in your bank account, what kind of degrees or certificates you got on your wall, whatever accomplishment you got in this world, did you put the Lord first when you did it? Do you worship the Lord? The Almighty Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua? No. You worshiping the God of this, the prince of this earth, the devil, who? The Edomites, the white man. The oath that is written in the law of Moses. It's in the book of Deuteronomy. Right. The servant of the Most High Power, because we have sinned against him. And what is sin again? Transgression of the law. Who were the laws given to? Us. Not the other nations. Right? And he have confirmed his words, which he spake against us and against our judges. Who be the first one saying that you can't judge me, the Lord? Only the Lord can judge me. Correct. And when we read what his judgment is out of these laws, statutes, and commandments. That's the guideline of judging, right? That judge us by bringing upon us a great evil. Evil meaning bad times. Are we not to this day in bad times? Are you at ease when you leave out the house? If you got kids, you don't worry about it. Yeah. Think it's safe in this land? Because all around the world ain't nothing but death and destruction. Just like in our communities, in every city in America. Same old shit go down with Jake. For by bringing upon us a great evil, for under the whole heaven has not been done as have been done upon Jerusalem. Now, that's a challenge for anybody. Look through the pages of history and see if anybody has been treated on earth like we've been treated. You ain't gonna find that in the so-called white man annals of history, with their history. The Chinese, even though their land got took over by the British and they was oppressed, they weren't treated like we was treated. Ammon, the Japanese, Elam, India, they got took over by who? The imperialists, the colonists. But they still wasn't treated like how the house of Israel been treated. They still know who they are. We got stripped of our identity, heritage, everything. Why? Because the Most High Power turned his back on us, right? Let's continue. We read that in the NLT. But yet Israel, the ones who are in a lot as an unbeliever, whose conscience have been seared with a hot iron, they don't understand it. Right? NLT, all Israel has disobeyed your instruction and turned away, refusing to listen to your voice. So now the solemn curses and judgments written in the law of Moses, the servant of the Most High Power, have been poured down on us because of our sin. Right? Now, Daniel was during the time of the Babylonian Empire, right? So after that, the Medo-Persian Empire took over the known earth. They had mercy on us. It's in the record books for like 200 years. But then the Greeks took over. But when Alexander the Great, you can look him up. Ain't that the Edomite claim to fame? Civilization started with the Greeks. No, it did not. Y'all just imitated all the other wicked kingdoms and blended them all together, right? But after Alexander the Great passed, and he split his little kingdom up to his 4 generals, we've been catching hell ever since, right? Look at the term Hellenization for all those who continue to believe that in certain scriptures in the New Testament, the term Gentile was meant for everybody. The Lord said he changed not. Malachi 3rd chapter, 6th verse. You have kept your word and done to us and our rulers exactly as you warned. Never has there been such a disaster as happened in Jerusalem. Well, can't nobody else say that. Who went through slavery like we did? Who went through hardcore bondage, wars, where they destroyed us, right? Destroyed our towns. They did it in America too. But yet, here's how they would have remained sleeping. Let's get some of these articles. Love of many West Coast. Daily in St. Louis, somebody get popped or get put to sleep. That's judgment from the Lord, though, right? Right. As it is written in Deuteronomy, what do you say? I wound, I heal, I kill, I make alive. Neither is there any that can be delivered out of my hand, roughly paraphrased. Headline, man shot, killed in Wells, Goodfellow neighborhood. This was yesterday. Man was shot and killed Saturday in St. Louis, Wells, Goodfellow neighborhood. Police say the shooting happened just after 2 p.m. at the intersection of Clara and Heber. Police say the victim is an adult male. Well, you just read the Love of Many Wax Code. Let me see something. Let's get this. Let's know what the other article you can't get into. Boy, you boy. Listen, in the scriptures, we're going to filter everything through the scriptures is right here. 2 Timothy 3 and 1. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. And we're in the last days of a kingdom. It's expiring. But without they considering the common folk. We the common folk. We ain't got no money. We can't move around like how these elite do. And just because you a billionaire in the house of Israel, as y'all look up to these people so much and idolize them, they still ain't shit. They ain't got enough money to escape judgment from the Lord. For men shall be lovers of themselves, of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. How many articles have you seen nationwide when it comes to a kid or a son or daughter putting their parents to sleep because they ain't want to adhere to what was going on? Right? I done read a couple of articles of one guy. He shot his father and brother, killed the father. I don't think he might have just injured the brother because they didn't want to give him a ride to his girlfriend's house. You got situations like that going around nationwide, and then you wonder why Jake is the only one that go through things like this. Because we under the curse. And guess what? Now they following up on them so-called white people. For men shall be lovers of themselves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truth breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce despisers of those that are good. That's them haters, them scoffers coming at us for trying to follow, rehearsing the righteous acts of the Lord. They coming at us. But they ain't came at the people that's claiming that they the children of the Lord. Or your average preacher who ain't talking about nothing but prosperity preacher. They ain't got no kind of questions for they preacher whom they've been giving money to all this time. However long you've been in the faith of the Christian church. I should say it like that. Let's get this in the NLT. Right? 2 Timothy 3 and 1, NLT. You should know this, Timothy, that in the last days there will be very difficult times. Inflation going up. People losing their jobs. Right? Everything is getting funneled into the new world order. Like you either gonna adhere to what the elite got going on in this new technocracy age that they trying to create, or everybody monitored, right? They want to put an RFID up in you just for you to survive, to buy, eat, sell, trade, to do whatever. They want to know everything you doing, every movement. Guess who cool with that? The other nations. Some gonna rebel, but 2/3 of our nation, oh, they love that type shit. They ain't gotta do nothing but get aid. They cut food stamps. In order to get them stamps in the future, you're going to have to take that thing. And you know who gonna do it? The rebellious of the house of Israel, right? For people will only love themselves and their money. Tell me that ain't evident. Is that not true about Jacob? You can come up with a million instances of somebody getting put to sleep or injured over dispute over money when it comes to who? Jacob. They will be boastful and proud, scoffing at the Most High power. You got some saying, oh no, that ain't true. The Bible been wrote by the so-called white man. Did you even read the book? If you read the book, you wouldn't make an ignorant statement like that. Toni Braxton said that to her sister. Well, she was already being misled, but at least she had a zeal for the Lord. She going to church. She got some kind of inkling. But Toni Braxton, oh no, the white man wrote that book. Why you believe that? There's other books you can read. I said this to my son a long time ago. The Judite woman, the black woman, she'll read every book under the sun except the Bible because that holds her accountable for her actions. And as we all know, if you ain't went through experience, black woman don't like order. She got a narrative in her head that's gonna go her way or no way at all. I just saw a video of a woman putting up a post saying, my son hating on me and won't let me have no fun. So they out at an event. And the son, he sounded like he couldn't have been no more than 9, 10 years old. And the mama started dancing because the song was on. And of course, as all Jake women do, she started, now I ain't gonna say all, 9 times out of 10, 80% of the women, right? She started twerking. And in the background, you can hear her son saying, Mommy, stop, that's disrespect, don't do that, that ain't right. So, like I've been telling my son, you always see this, the Judite woman take credit for when their son do something good. They make a so-called achievement in this world, right? Something meaningless, like their son get drafted to the NFL, NBA, baseball, whatever. They get a record deal. Like how Migos, that little rap group, parents was bragging on them when they bought them a house or whatever. They never mention how their daughters turn out. I wonder if Sexy Red Mama gonna come on. I'm so proud of my daughter for spreading STDs, teaching our young girls as far as young as kids 4, 5 years old in kindergarten to twerk, to present themselves as whores to the rest of the nation. I see women in their 40s and 50s dressing like they teenagers, right? Disobedient to their parents. We already discussed that, man. Nowadays, boy, this generation so wicked. They'll put their parents to sleep and ungrateful. They will consider nothing sacred. They sure don't. Tell me we ain't in them times right now. They will be unloving and unforgiving. This man just got popped. Whatever he did, it was judgment from the Lord, right? And whoever popped him finna get judged from the Lord. They will be unloving and unforgiving. They will be slandered. They will slander others and have no self-control, right? You can apply this to the Edomites too. That's all they do. They will be cruel and hate what is good. That's the Edomites. They hate what's good. They do everything opposite to what the Lord say. That's why they the physical counterpart of Satan on earth. The spiritual demon Satan. They will betray their friends, be reckless, and be puffed up with pride and love pleasure rather than the Most High power. All our people do, Jake, they love to please themselves, whether it be who commit adultery, violate the dietary laws, or even violating your temple as a whole. The Lord say don't cut on your body. You can't tell no average Judite woman that they want a BBL bad breast implant. They want to alter how they look. You can tell they don't love themselves because look at them. They want hair that ain't theirs, makeup, eyelash. They don't want to got BBLs, all kind of surgery. Don't get tattoos. Oh, we the kings of that shit. So, as the Lord said in the scripture, do not be as the heathen. You got 2/3 of our people that act exactly like the heathen, right? Now, get back to these articles. world events, right? The West Bank, another Palestinian American just been killed over in the West Bank. Now remember that the settlers over in the West Bank, they just going through tearing up shit. They killing Christians and Muslim Palestinians. And what are people in America saying? Nothing. Palestinian American dies of smoke inhalation on West Bank after settlers fires. After settlers set cars to like after settlers set fires to cars and homes. So they just over there bombing, tearing up shit, taking what they want. They are not guilty as other men. That's in the scriptures. Nobody's speaking out on it. So, despite the genocide that's going on, they starving kids out in the West Bank, so like over in the Gaza Strip, over in the West Bank, they just taking people's stuff. Christians too. They burning up cars, tearing down homes, just claiming people land, and they already in the house. They just putting them out. And guess who assisting them? The IDF. A Palestinian American died in the Israeli-occupied West Bank. You notice that statement? Israeli-occupied West Bank. Who wants to be occupied? When you occupy, you under control of somebody else. They controlling things. You can't go in or out. They already in the occupied West Bank. Now they just taking over them people's stuff. Last week, after a confirmation with settlers, U.S. officials confirmed Kamas Ayad, who was in his 40s, died Thursday from smoke inhalation in Siawai, a village in the central West Bank near Israeli settlements. How is that being done in 2025? A U.S. official told CBS News the Palestinian Health Ministry said on Friday that the fires were set by settlers on homes and vehicles in Siawai, according to the agency. I just remember this. America just put sanctions on the Palestinian government. As if the people of Palestine had already going through enough. They over there being bombed, tortured, starved, all kind of disease rampant throughout them little, the Gaza Strip. And yet, you put sanctions on them. What about the ones, the perpetrators? They ain't did none of them yet, because we can't even say their name. So like, yeah, they ain't gonna do nothing. They ain't gonna do them all their condolences. Let's move on. Because guess what? They ain't the right people. Let the right people get killed and watch how America react and the rest of the world. Especially them, hold on. Check this out. The love of many waxing cold, right? It's to be mother against daughter, son against the father, right? New Zealand woman arrested for traveling with 2-year-old in a suitcase, right? Trying to be slick. You ain't harm your kid. A woman in New Zealand was arrested Sunday after a 2-year-old girl was found trapped in a suitcase that she was traveling with. Police were called to a bus stop in Kawaka, about 62 miles north of Auckland, after a bus driver became concerned about a bag moving during a scheduled stop. She didn't want to pay for the kid on the bus. That's messed up. When the driver opened the suitcase, they discovered the 2-year-old girl. Detective Inspector Simon Harrison said the little girl was reported to be very hot, but otherwise appeared physically unharmed. And they'll tell her how long she was about to go. You see how they go? Not everybody's a mother. It's like not every father. Man is a father. Now, worst case scenario of famine unfolds in Gaza Strip, food security experts say. Now, remember now, Witkoff just went over there and said ain't nobody starving. The truth continues to come out. Soon, everybody, as it is written, what's that? Isaiah 14, prepare a slaughter for his children. Soon, it's going to come back on you, Lisa. The worst case scenario of famine is currently playing out in the Gaza Strip. The leading international authority on food crisis said in a new alert Tuesday. This article came out on the 29th, right? But you got Witkoff, who just went over there. Let me see if I can pull that out there. He just went over there and said, it ain't nobody starving, right? I just read it. Everybody else know what's going on except people in America. The worst case scenario of famine is currently playing out in the Gaza Strip. The leading international authority on food crisis said in a new alert Tuesday, predicting widespread death without immediate action. The alert still short of a formal famine declaration. You see how they word things? This is what's been going on since 23 October. You gotta wait, what, 6 more months for them to say, oh, it's only what? Hold on. I got it in my notes. It's a lot for me right here. How many people done died so far of starvation? 1,400 been killed since May just for getting in line at the humanitarian aid centers. They got them all going to like cages, right? 175 that started there. 93 of them was kids. Then they just killed 92 on the day by various bombing throughout the Gaza Strip. Let's go back to the part and this one. And they say it ain't no what. Oh, hold on. Oh, they go to one with I gotta read the other one first. Let me go back to that. The alert still short of formal famine declaration. So 175 people that died of starvation so far now. 93 kids. They done killed over 1,400. I think it's like 1,422 people that died just waiting. They got picked off, just waiting in line trying to get some food. Right? The alert still short of a formal famine declaration follows an outcry over images of emaciated children in Gaza and reports of dozens of hunger-related deaths after nearly 22 months of war. Now let's see what these guys say. Witkoff and Huckabee. Show people what ChatGPT can do with voice. Right. I know where that came from, right? This August the 1st. U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff and Ambassador Mike Huckabee visit Gaza aid distribution site as humanitarian crisis worsens. President Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff and U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee visited southern Gaza on Friday amid international outrage. International outrage. Notice they ain't say outrage in the States. Why? Because they still bought off. You know who you can't talk about. Aid shortages and deadly chaos in their aid distribution sites. Yeah, because y'all keep shooting at everybody. Witkoff and Huckabee toured one of the privately run U.S. and Israeli-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation distribution sites, Huckabee said. So, America's complicit with this war. They provide weapons, they provide money to them Israelis, and they started a humanitarian aid that's run by mercenaries. Then they built a flotilla off the coast that cost millions of dollars, millions of dollars might have been a billion, and it didn't even work. That was under Biden. Witkoff and Huckabee toured one of the privately run U.S. and Israeli-backed humanitarian foundation distribution sites. Huckabee said the aim of the visit was to learn the truth about GHF sites. Huckabee wrote in a social media post. We received briefings from the IDF and spoke to folks on the ground. GHF delivers more than 1 million meals a day, an incredible feat, Huckabee said. That's a lie. That's a lie. The footage that's coming from around the world show different, right? Witkoff and Huckabee visited a GHF site in Rafah, Gaza's southernmost city, according to an official involved with the visit. The official requested anonymity because they were not authorized to brief the media. So if it's so fine and dandy over there, why is the journalists, news media outlets, they banned from coming into Gaza? You can't even find no drone over there to see what's going down. It's only the narrative that the aggressors want to put forth. The official requested anonymity because they were not authorized to brief the media. See, today we spent over 5 hours inside Gaza, level setting the facts on the ground, assessing conditions, and meeting with GHF and other agencies. The purpose of the visit was to give President Trump a clear understanding of the humanitarian situation and help craft a plan to deliver food and medical aid to the people of Gaza, Witkoff said on social media. How about y'all stop supplying them with weapons? Right? Trump sent his envoy to serve as his eyes and ears on the ground. Everybody can see it. He can report. They didn't kill journalists too. Members of the UN, they didn't kill them too, right? DHS spokesperson Chapman Face said in a statement, "We were honored to brief his delegation. Share our operation to demonstrate the impact of delivering 100 million meals to those who need them most." They lying. All four of the group's distribution sites are in zones controlled by the Israeli military, right? Open air concentration camp. Throughout their months in operation, these sites have become flashpoints of desperation, with mass crowds of people gathering outside who have then come under fire from Israeli forces or been trampled in the resulting crush. And then it came out that the IDF been supplying the little rebels in Palestine to go against Hamas and the rest of the citizens. Divide and conquer. The Israeli military says it only has fired warning shots at people who approach its forces. Just told you since May, 1,422 people have been killed at them distribution centers. Right? Let's get it. It's time for a scripture. Y'all thinking the world gonna hold them accountable. Nope, it's gonna be the Lord. The Lord gonna set things straight. As it is written, he gonna have war with Amalek from generation to generation. If you don't know, the Amalekites currently are ruling the land of Israel, and they trying to eliminate the so-called Palestinians. Right? We know that's Ishmael with a little mixture of Elam and let's go to the KJV first. Let's go to back to the. Wait a minute. We get 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3. We're gonna keep bringing it out because the son of perdition, the man of evil, who is that? The modern day so-called white man. They continue to be exposed for the wicked people that they are. Let no man deceive, 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, which happened, right? When the children of Israel lost their identity. And that the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, the man of sin, the so-called Edomite. Right? You already know through Malachi 1, they the boy of wickedness, who opposed and exalted himself above all that is called the Most High Power. Not these Edomites, these crackers. And the wicked say they'd rather be ruled by artificial intelligence, AI, than to obey the Lord, the Most High Power, the Almighty Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, the Most High Power of Israel. They'd rather let a few do that. But we finna find out. The Most High, like, who opposes and exalted himself above all that is called the Most High Power, or that is worshipped, so that he, as the Most High Power, sitteth in the temple of the Most High Power, showing himself that he is the Most High Power. He want to say he can heal anybody, right? They got nanotechnology. Now I seen a little report. They done made up a robot. They can inject in your body and go straight to the source and eliminate whatever's wrong with you. Fall for this shit if you want to. They got surveillance on everybody, right? They trying to open that up. They want to know your every movement. Now through your Wi-Fi, they can detect motion in your house. Who opposed and exalted himself above all that is called the Most High Power. That's why they want to try to put that RFID in you. Because they think they're going to rule forever. Nope. And they go on I finish reading it. Or that is worship. So that he, as the Most High Power, sitteth in the temple of the Most High Power, showing himself that he is the Most High Power. Let's go to it. Let's go back to the Old Testament. Go to Psalms. They thought, because ain't they just bombed Lebanon again too? Yesterday, they got action going on in Syria. The Lord took out. Now I'm just talking about regular news. The Lord took out some migrants off the coast of Yemen. 53 of them that died in the boat that flipped over some shit. Right? The Lord eliminate people every day. Yet Israel, house of Israel, they ain't paying attention. Psalms 10 and 2. The wicked, who is that? The Edomites. As you notice, they are not in trouble as other men. We're going to get that too. Because they the only one right now on earth that can go around doing what they're doing. They right now the settlers taking over people's homes violently in the West Bank. And then in the Gaza Strip, they just killing whoever. It's like target practice now. And now, we're going to read that article too, coming from them. They don't care about them hostages. Y'all finna find out. The wicked in this pride do persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined, and they will be. All these things, these wicked things is in the Esau's mind. That was put in his head by the Lord. Via who? The spiritual demon Satan. He ain't gonna come through with it, man. He setting y'all ass up for free. For the wicked boasted of his harsh desire. Now, I tried to pull up an article I had from last year, from 24, and that was Smotrich, the Minister of Defense for Israel, to the Israelis, and might be the Minister of Finance too. I'm gonna read the article. He said that they wanted to start to keep it in, but the world wouldn't let him. Right? He boasted of his heart's desire, and blessed the covetous, whom Yahweh abhorred. They just want to take shit. You ain't supposed to take nobody's land. As it is written in the scriptures, though, the land can only be cleansed by the blood of the person that shed it. So just remember, all this death and destruction, they're who the wicked, the so-called modern-day white man, have spread throughout the earth since they took over the known earth in the 300s. It's coming back on their head. The Lord gonna repay them. We ain't got to do nothing but speak the words of the scriptures. You heard? The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after the Most High power. The Most High power is not in all his thoughts. They weren't programmed to be that way. They the vessels fitted for destruction. A vessel with dishonor, right? And now you got our people, they've been brainwashed, they assimilated. Just like in all the other various captivities, the ones who rebelled against the Lord, they agree with it. They said, shit, fuck it, we like how the white man get down. Just like when we came out of Egypt, when they was mad, because Moses led us out of Egypt to go to the forest, the wilderness. That's why we had to stay 40 years so the Lord can knock their ass off. He don't play. The wicked, through the pride of his kindness, will not seek after the Most High power. The Most High power is not in all his thoughts. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. Now, when Trump came out and said he gonna change that 50-day ceasefire rule he got from Russia to talk to them Ukrainians to come up with a ceasefire deal, he cut that down to 10 to 12 days. And then Medvedev, I hope I pronounced his name right, the old president of Russia, made a couple of comments. And what DJ do? He said he threatened me, so we're gonna send out some subs, some nuclear subs, and put them in that area over there by Russia. Russia said, we ain't worried about that shit. We got the dead hand doctrine. So if you shoot anything over here thinking you're going to eliminate us, our missiles and ICBMs, the Orishnik, they making mass production of that right now. It's already programmed to set out for what? Hit America. So you ain't going to accomplish nothing with that. You just puffing up at your enemy. But guess what? Them Russians, they ain't scared. That's scriptural too. It's at Ezekiel 38th chapter. Check it out. It's in Revelation too. Either 18 or 20. Check it out, Israel. His ways are always grievous, right? They don't want to go peace with them people in Palestine. They don't want to create a two-state nation. Now you got all these other little Western hegemony nations like the UK, France, Portugal, and now they're going to say they're going to recognize Palestine as a state. That's not doing nothing. They still getting killed every day. 92 of them got killed today as I speak. That's just today. Every day is 50 or more getting eliminated, put to sleep. He said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. Is that not the thought process? Let me be the mice. I'm right here now. Watching all them walk around. They ain't got no troubles on their mind. None. Remember, his mouth is full of cursing of deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. Right? Who's that described? Hold on, let me get this. Let me say this. Let me read this and then we're going to get another one. Psalm 73 and 5. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. They saying what they doing to the people over there in our homeland right now is worse than what happened during World War II. They ain't acknowledging that though, right? Therefore, pride compasses them about as a chain. Violence covers them as a garment. They said they're gonna keep eliminating people. They're gonna keep putting people to sleep in our homeland. In Lebanon, 'cause they want to take that over too. Southern Lebanon. In Syria, they want control of that too. They already got control of the Golan Heights, right? They want to eliminate Iran because Iran is the only people that's supplying these little proxy, like not the proxy. They supplying the people who resist them, right? They call them terrorists, but the people that's resistant, they people being overtook. They rebelling against the establishment, so now they are terror. What did that make the aggressor? Answer that is right here. So Iran supply Hezbollah, Hamas, and in some regards Yemen, Ansarallah. Ansarallah been making their own weapons, and they've been getting stuff from China and Russia, right? Therefore, pride compasses them about as a chain. Violence covers them as a garment. Now, when Trump say he gonna put them submarines out, they also saying that they want to invade. What's the name of it? Hold on, let me get it. They want to invade a part of Russia, as if they're gonna get away with it. Kaliningrad, that's it. They want to invade Kaliningrad, which is a part of Russia. Pride compasses them about as a chain. Violence covers them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. Let's get back to that article. Because Witkoff said, ain't nobody over there. Ain't nobody over there dying from starvation. The lies. Right? Talking about a million people getting fed. What an incredible feat. Man, what? Who are you to dictate when them people supposed to eat? Heard what let me see. Let me get back to that, and then we're gonna go to the smoke juice part. Man, what the like is all four of the brief distribution sites are in zones controlled by the Israeli military. Throughout their months of in operation, these sites have become flashpoints of desperation, with mass crowds of people gathering outside, but who have then come under fire from Israeli forces or been trampled in the resulting crush. The Israeli military says it has only fired warning shots at people who approach its forces. Like I just said, 1,422 people then got shot, and they doing targeting the youth, the male youth. One day they shoot them in the head. That's like on Monday. Tuesday they shoot them in the chest. Wednesday they shoot them in the testicles. This coming from the doctors over in the Gaza Strip. And the GHF says its armed contractors have only used pepper spray or fired warning shots to control crowds. It wouldn't be a crowd of them people was eating free. You created that situation for them to be starving, right? Don't worry about it. The Lord got something for y'all. Really? But there have been a persistent, I'll read that again. The Israeli military says it has only fired warning shots at people who approach its forces. And GHF says its armed contractors have only used pepper spray or fired warning shots to control crowds. But there has been a persistent pattern of people being killed by Israeli gunfire and even heavier weapons around the GHF sites over the past 5 months, with the death toll in the hundreds. Witkoff visits comes a week after U.S. officials walked away from ceasefire talks in Qatar. Remember, they supposed to have a ceasefire in January. That didn't last. So they opened it back up in March. But you're going to read what he says. It's called Gideon Summit. Witkoff's visit comes a week after U.S. officials walked away from ceasefire talks in Qatar, blaming Hamas and pledging to seek other ways to rescue Israeli hostages to make Gaza safe. How you going to make Gaza safe? You the one that's making it unsafe. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said Thursday He was sent to craft a plan to boost food and aid deliveries as part of an effort to save lives and end this crisis. While Mr. Trump wrote on social media that the fastest way to end the crisis would be for Hamas to surrender and release hostages. Oh, yeah. How about you stop giving them aid? International organizations have said Gaza has been International organizations have said Gaza has been on the brink of famine for the past 2 years. The Integrated Food Security Phase Classification, the leading international authority of food crisis, and the recent developments including Israel's complete blockade of aid for 2.5 months, mean the worst case scenario of famine is currently playing out in Gaza. Everybody in their lot. Right? The lot of the Edomites is that they wicked. And they doing wicked shit right now on earth. Sons of perdition being revealed. Guess who ain't paying attention? All right, let's get that Ben Smotrich article right quick. This out of the Times of Israel. Salaki. This out of the Times of Israel. Far-right ministers in Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's coalition. Hold on, let's see what the title is. Here it is. Let me read this headline. Smotrich Ben-Gvir said to urge raising Gaza City, with PM not objecting. IDF Chief Balkan, right? So they want to just go ahead and blow the Gaza Strip up and kill everybody, knock out the tunnels and everything, which would eliminate the hostages. And you would think that if the people in Palestine starving, ain't the hostages starving too? Think about it, Israel. They don't give a fuck about nobody. Smotrich Ben-Gvir and the urge, Salaki. Smotrich Ben-Gvir said to urge raising. What's raising? Destroy, burning. Who else said that in there? About us. In the scriptures. During the time when the Babylonians took over the nation of Israel. What happened? Who was in the background saying race it, race it? I'll let you look that up. Now let's see this. Far-right ministers and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's coalition have called for destroying Gaza City as part of a military operation to take full control of the Gaza Strip, a report said Wednesday. This past Wednesday. This is the 31st, right? The Haaretz Daily, who cited unnamed sources, said that Netanyahu did not rule out the plan. Let's see what their plan is. Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich and National Security Minister, so Salaki. Smotrich is the Finance Minister. Ben-Gvir, the National Security Minister. National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir raised the proposal at a cabinet meeting this week, sources told the outlet. The pair, who lead the religious, they start with a Z, I ain't gonna say it, ism, and Oxma Yehudi parties respectively asked the military to present a plan for destroying Gaza City and the tunnels under it, along with seizing control of all of the coastal enclaves. All they wanted the land. They covered fields. Leave the keepers at home. It's all in the scriptures. Talking about who? The wicked, which is Esau Edom. The Israeli Defense Forces controls the eastern part of Gaza City, while over 1 million Gazans are sheltering in the west of the city, where there is a daily 10-hour humanitarian pause in the fight, according to the report. So that's another reason why they want to get rid of Iran, because if Iran is the main supplier of weapons to the people that's resisted against their efforts. You get rid of Iran, guess what? The people can't fight. They're going to be like the people in Gaza then. They just going to get mowed down. Boy, these people, boy, are wicked. According to the report, IDF chief and staff Eyal Zamir told the meeting that if the political leadership instructs the army to maneuver in all of Gaza City or the refugee camps in the central Gaza region, then it must declare that bringing home the hostages is only a secondary goal of the war, as such operations would endanger the captives. Of course they would. They don't care. They kill us. Let's get another. precept. Matter of fact, we're going to go to Malachi. I thought it was. The Most High Power's love for Jacob. Who was that? So-called African American, Native American, and Latino. Salvation is only for Israel. And I'm not, so like I said, title of this camp, everybody in their life. So those whose name are written in the book, they paying attention. Those who what? Like reading Jeremiah 4:7, Jeremiah the 14th chapter, Jeremiah 11th chapter. Pray not for these people. Who? The scoffers. The burden of the word of Yahweh to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith Yahweh. Yeah, you say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith Yahweh? Yet I loved Jacob. Verse 3. And I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons and the widows. Whereas Edom said, the modern day white man, we are impoverished, but we will return and build in desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh have indignation forever. So that would mean that whole nation of people eliminated from salvation. Right? You can eliminate the Moabites, the Ammonites, the Ishmaelites, the Hamites. And we done already through countless videos told you who these nations was. Look it up. Check out Psalms 83:1. Ain't none of them nations gonna be saved. Only thing they gonna be reserved for is captivity. Right? Now, the Russians say, if America do anything with them submarines they trying to put in our area, as if Russia don't got no submarines too. We coming up on the third war, y'all. All these things are coming true. We're just going through the scriptures, right? Taking headlines and filtering them through the scriptures, right? Revelation 11 and 14, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. And let's see. A couple more articles. You got an earthquake. A volcano just erupted in northern Russia for the first time in 600 years. But y'all can't tell something going down. Look at that. Former U.S. soldiers suspected in Montana bar shooting that killed 4 people. You would have got the clap. Now, let's go over something about these missing out. Let me get something first from my description. Let's go back to the scriptures. Scripture everything through the scriptures. Let's go to Isaiah. Let me go to Isaiah 19 chapter. Wait a minute. Let me go to 14 first. So we can get something for them Amalekites. They think they're going to rule forever, along with their brothers, the rest of the Edomites, the house of Esau Edom. Okay? This was coming for this nation, right? This is known as Babylon the Great. Read the book of Jeremiah and tell me the people of Israel don't match the description of the modern day so-called African American, Native American, and Latino. Isaiah 14:4. Thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, against who? DJ, and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? Are they not complicit with another house of Esau Edom known as Amalek right now? Ain't they complicit with them in destroying the people, oppressing the people since 1948? Thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. All these unrighteous decrees that they put on these nations. If they don't get down with if they don't drink their wine, if they don't agree with their doctrine, their policies and ways of how to lead people, right? Yahweh have broken the staff of the wicked. We just established who the wicked was. Esau Edom, the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindered. Not only did they take us into slavery, during the time of the Greeks, time of the Romans, and the time of the modern day so-called white man right now, over here in America, we was enslaved. Not only that, but during the period of colonization, they took over the Moabites, the Elamites, the Hamites. All these nations gonna come at your ass. Let's get to this point. Let me go and read this part, since they keep thinking the devil is real, you be walking around Lucifer, right? How art thou found? Isaiah 14:12, because the Lord taking them out of their power, see. out of their power seat, right? They're losing power. People around the world starting to hate these so-called Edomites, the modern-day white man. They are despised among the heathen, right? And like the Lord said, I should make you small among the heathen too. They reproductive numbers are dwindling too, right? How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Who been weakening these other nations? Why you got the African nations saying they rebelling against the colonists, kicking out France, Germany, the Dutch, America from out of Africa because they've been oppressed by her. Just like, why you think the Chinese, the Moabites, created such a great army? Because they said that the British had control of them. They ain't never going under nobody rule again. They gonna fight to the end. Check these things out, Israel. The British occupied Iran too for a time. Let's get down to the point. Talking about the modern day white man, right? Isaiah 14 and 15. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit, right? Death and bad times. Some curses gonna fall upon your ass. You're gonna receive double for what you did to us. They shall see, verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Who doing that on earth right now? The sons of perdition being revealed. You can't deny it. It's who? Edomites. Like the Moabites say, the Chinese, they say, we ain't never attacked nobody. We ain't never attacked no other country. Who have done that? Who dropped atomic weapons on them Japanese, on the Ammonites? Who dropped depleted uranium on their own people over in the Yugoslavia region? Who dropped Agent Orange on the Vietnamese? I'll wait for the answers. That made the world as a wilderness. Who is the leader of deforestation? Putting concrete everywhere. You know who it is. And destroyed the cities thereof. Look at the Gaza Strip right now. And at this very moment, like I said, they got settlers taking over people, taking over people's stuff. They living in the houses right now. They taking over. Get out the house. It's our shit now. Who do that? That made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners. Right? Let's get down to the point. Verse 21. This is a future prophecy coming for who? The violent man. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, if they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. For I will rise up against them, saith Yahweh of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name, and remnant, and son, and nephew, saith Yahweh. I will also make it a possession for the bitumen and pools of water, and I will sweep it with the besom of destruction, saith Yahweh of hosts. Let's look at the word besom of destruction. That's an ICBM. All these nations finna turn on who? America. And them people that's over in the homeland now, them killers, the goats. The besom of destruction, the broom. So it's gonna be like when a nuclear weapon hit, you're gonna get a mushroom cloud and everything in that radius gonna get swept clean with fire. How do we know that? Let's go back to Malachi. Whoa. I'll go to 4. Final admonition. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yeah. Who the most proud on earth right now? If you look at the dictionary, you look at the word pride, who face gonna be there? DJ. And all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith Yahweh of hosts, that it shall leave neither root nor branch. Right? Ultimately, after 1,000 years of captivity, now this is gonna take place during the Third World War, right? When they get to shoot bombs over each other, they gonna shoot missiles over here in America, and then you're gonna see Yahweh and the rest of the angels come through and fight against all the armies of the world, all the military of the world, and eliminate them. Right? I'll read it again, because this is what we're looking forward to, and this was coming up, Israel. So prepare yourselves. Jacob's trouble The implementation of that RFID chip, the love of many continues to wax cold. So everybody is in a lot right now. Everybody doing what the Lord has purpose, right? What is that? Isaiah 49 chapter. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as another, and all the proud, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith Yahweh of hosts. That shall leave neither root nor branch. So the earth is cleansed the first time by a flood, major flood. This time, say you're gonna clean it by fire. Who is this for though? Controversy of Zion. Let me get this. I'm gonna end on this. I'm just going through the daily events, weekly events, and being a watchman and telling these things to the house of Israel, to prepare themselves. But are they paying attention? We shall find out. Let me find it. I get this for Israel. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. That's Hebrews 10:31. So I started off camp by reading the one article, the guy that got shot over in the Wells Goodfellow neighborhood in St. Louis. That had to have been the Jacob. So they don't want to congregate over in there, right? So daily, members of the house of Israel get eliminated, get put to sleep, right? But as it is written, it's exactly right. So like, yeah. Right? Every day somebody in the house of Israel gets judged by the Lord. Zephaniah 3 and 5. The just Yahweh was in the midst of. He will not do iniquity. Every morning doeth he brings his judgment to light. He filleth not, but the unjust doeth no shame. 2/3 they don't know no shame. It's going to continue to go on. Winter the curses. Thy eyes will be evil toward thy brother. Right? Somebody eliminated somebody and put somebody to sleep. Now you got to get judged by the Lord. You either going to get put to sleep or you going to jail. Right? Let's turn back over to 2 right quick. This for the nation of Israel alone. Who's been warning y'all, right? But everybody in their life. Either you're going to hear it or you're going to fall back. Zephaniah 2 and 3. Seek ye Yahweh, all ye meek of the earth. And if you can't tell, like I said, we the meek of the earth, which have wrought his judgment, bring his judgment. Seek righteousness, seek meekness. It may be ye shall be hid in the day of Yahweh's anger. And what's that? We just read it in Malachi 4. The day coming when the earth going to burn as an oven. Now, let me get back to what I was trying to find in Hebrews. There it is. 11. Hebrews 11 and 10. For you look for a city which have foundations, whose builder and maker is the Most High Power. That's what we're looking forward to. Because the only people that's going to be saved from the wrath that the Lord is bringing on this earth are the Israelites. That's what salvation. That's why it's mentioned in the scripture. Salvation is for the house of Israel. Salvation is for Israel. That's who your house is coming back for. The elect remnant of the house of Israel, as I say in every introduction. So let's look this word up, city. We look for a city which have foundations, whose builder and maker is the Most High Power. Let's look this up. City. Let me get. Oh, so like, I had to turn my volume down. Everybody kept up.
Strong's G 4172. Polis. Polis.
Polis. A city. One's native city. The city in which one lives. The heavenly Jerusalem. The abode of the blessed in heaven. Of the visible capital in the heavenly kingdom to come down to earth after the renovation of the world by fire. You just read it in Malachi, the 4th chapter. It's throughout the scriptures too. The Lord's going to burn, cleanse the earth. He got to cleanse the earth. the land and the waters, because of the destruction that these Edomites have brought forth on the earth. We just read it in Isaiah 14. Guess what, Israel? You better get your house in order. Same thing he told Esther. He told Daniel, he told Esther the same thing. Everybody in their lot. You ain't got to believe in regeneration if you don't want to. The Lord don't care. He knows. He is the creator. We keep coming back every third, fourth generation to serve our judgment on this earth. We're reading Ecclesiastes 3rd chapter, and I seen under the sun the place of judgment. You better start considering Israel, because guess what? We one day closer to the kingdom. Shalom.